Hi, Growing Together kids. I'm Pastor Elizabeth. I'm so glad to be joining you this week. This week, we are studying how to be kind and honor God and others through the story of David and Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth? You know, that's a hard word. Can we say it together? Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth. You know, I think it would be easier just to say am. In 2 Samuel chapter 9. Have you ever had a chance to grow or plant something? I don't know about you, but I love plants and planting. Ever since I was little, my parents had my hands in the dirt. I love planting plants that produce fruits and veggies, plants that produce flowers, and even some that are just nice inside that are green. When I was younger, my parents taught me to take care of plants. There's a few things that you need to do to make sure that they grow strong and healthy. For example, you need to water them. So I could bring my watering pail out and water my plants. You also need to feed them. You heard me right. You need to feed your plants. Did you know that? You may be thinking, my type of food? No. You can put your candy and human food away. I'm not talking about people food, of course. I'm talking about fertilizer, plant food. And you need to make sure that they have enough sunlight. A few years ago, I went to the garden store and picked out this little plant called a monstera. It kind of looks like this one here. It was small, but it was just what I was looking for in the moment. I followed the instructions and took it home to what my parents told me when I was younger. I watered it every single week, or as much as it needed to. I gave it food during the spring months when it was getting a little bit too much sun and needed an extra boost. And I also put it by my window to make sure that it had enough sun as it needed. This week we are exploring the story of David and Im. You see, Im was the son of the King David's friend. David wanted to honor his friend by making sure that his son was well taken care of, especially when he had a hard time walking. So David was a friend to him, and he reached out to him and cared to him by bringing him to his very own home. He even gave him land, and he made sure that he sat at the king's table for meals. David was a friend to Im, and just as I care for my plants, David cared for his friend. Did you know you and I have the opportunity to be like David? We can plant seeds of kindness in different ways as we care for other people around us and care for them as we would care for ourselves. Do you remember that little plant that I showed you at the beginning of the story? This one right here? Well, over the last 5 years, I've been caring for that plant a lot. And it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You see, how does something so small get to be so big? We have the ability to honor God by showing kindness and helping others grow. We can water our friendships around by standing up for one another on the playground. We can plant kindness by sharing lunch with other people when they maybe forgot theirs. And we can grow one another by sitting and using kindness and encouraging words around us. Romans 12:10 says, "Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourself." This verse reminds us that it's so important to care for one another. So will you join me this week as we show kindness and love through caring for one another, just as we care for the world, just as we care for ourselves and helping each other grow? So think of these 3 questions. First, how can you plant seeds of kindness around you? 2, how can you be devoted to God? And 3, how can you care for others as you care for yourself?